Hey guys, Dave Witchard here, and with my man Brent Abernathy, and this is our Velocity Leadership call. So we just decided we were going to do these. This is our second one we've done like this. I actually had Ivan on last week, another integrity partner, but one of our obviously newer integrity partners, and my buddy Brent Abernathy. Just what I know about Brent is this: that he's been with FFL a while. He's got one of the bigger businesses in all of FFL. Probably forgot more about this business than I even know. And the one thing I love about Brent, he's not like, I'm just saying, like, he's very humble in the fact that, listen, I'm going to tell you this. He's probably like, oh, I don't, but he played professional baseball. He won an Olympic gold medal. And the reason I tell you that is because there's a couple of things I want to ask you, Brent, about the mindset, because I know to get to that level, what it takes. And I believe in our business, those similar mindsets are what's going to get them to, say, if they want an integrity deal or they want to have a massive business or grow or whatever. And, so I just thought some things there, but man, I'm super excited for you guys, you and your family. For those of you who don't know this, we're both Bulldogs, so I got to just throw that out. It was funny because I was thinking about you that night. I was sitting there. It's like 10:30 at night. I finally kind of like, ooh, and my wife had TV on, and she leaves the room, right? And I'm flipping, and guess what was on? It was the last 4:33 of that game, dude. I couldn't stop. She comes back in. She says, "You're watching that again?" I said, "Honey, I could probably watch this part of the game every day of my life, and I would never get tired of it."
Absolutely.
So I sat there and watched that, and I thought about our moments. Matter of fact, I was in the office just yesterday, and I was sharing that moment. And I had Aaron with me. He's a little bit smaller, and I was showing him what I did to you that night when Kylie went, and Sean was next to me, and I was like, yeah. So anyway, that's just a long story. But the good news is, I love the guy. We've had some good times, but I love being in business with Brent. But just tell us, I mean, whatever's on your heart right now, what integrity means to you, and then we'll just jump into some other stuff.
Yeah, and I appreciate the introduction, man. And I'm going to say thank you to you, okay? Because you mentioned I've been with FFL for really since inception, back in 2014, and because of people like yourself who have come into the business, you can call it new blood, you can call it new energy, whatever you want to call it. Um, and only being here, I guess roughly 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years now, um, that gave people like myself a jolt of energy that I needed at that point in time, and I'm sure others across the country needed as well. And just that excitement that you bring to the table, that passion that you bring to the table, that willingness to work that you bring to the table, but also just showing people how quickly it can be done. And personally, from me to you, man, and I know we have all kinds of other things in common that we relate on or whatever, but I thank you for that, because I needed that at that point in time to get me on track. Because I think in our business, man, and you mentioned my professional baseball background and all that sort of stuff. I think there's a couple big things that you have to have and you have to be aware of if you're going to grow this thing big. And the first thing is you've got to let this business go to your heart. It can't be in your head. It's got to go to your heart. And that can be on a number of different levels, Dave. It's you can talk about helping families and outright insurance and all that sort of stuff. And if you're out there trying to earn a dollar or whatever, as opposed to protect a family, you're not going to get the same results. Okay. But it goes the same. I know this is a builder's call, a leader's call. It's the same for building your business. If you're looking to recruit people and get them selling insurance to help you and your checking account and your family, your income, it ain't going to work, because they see that just like a client sees that, and they're going to feel that you're trying to make money off of them, and that's not what this deal's about. When you can let it go to your heart, and when you can wake up, lay in bed at night, awake, keeping yourself awake, trying to figure out, how can I help this manager? How can I help this manager? How can I put them in a better position? What can I say to them? Who can I get them in front of that might help them more in this situation? When you get to that point, and I'm getting chills, dude, right now thinking
I am
about it.
too. I am too.
I mean, seriously, because
No,
it's
I
like,
am.
And when you wake up in the morning and it's not about how much volume can we do for my bank account, but it's how can I help this manager get to this? That's when it's a game changer. Okay. So that's the first thing, man, is it's got to be in your heart. That passion for helping people. And then the other thing, dude, that, and I'm sure we'll get into a lot of other stuff, but and I can relate this back to my baseball days, right? I got drafted in the second round. I was very blessed out of high school by the Toronto Blue Jays, was given a significant amount of money for an 18-year-old kid out of high school. And, to start my professional career. I could have, and plenty of people do this, I could have become very complacent very quickly, Dave, right? Like, hey, I've already got this. I'm set for a while, money wise. And I could have not worked the same way with the same consistency, the same intensity, right? And if I had chosen that route, I would have been like a lot of the other people and maybe only gotten to A ball or double A ball or whatever and then fizzled out. But I had that same intensity. I did not become complacent. I wanted to constantly be getting better every day. There was that goal of reaching the major leagues that I wanted to get to. And I kept fighting, kept striving every single day and ended up reaching that. And in our business, you're seeing cash flow come in. And it can be very easy to become complacent and just be like, hey, I'm good. And it's just the intensity with which you do things, right? Is even calls like this, right? Dave, I remember there became a point in time where I was just going through the motion. When I was listening to training calls, I was just checking the box saying, hey, I'm here, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing or whatever. And that's that complacency setting in, as opposed to getting after it every day. Every training call, like really be intently listening and engaged. And hey, what can I take out of this to help my team? The intensity with which we get out in front of people and travel and go meet new agents and recruits. So those two things, man, I think, and I know, like I said, I know we're going to dig into more stuff, but I mean, if I had to, say, hey, these are two big things as managers, as growing a group, as leaders that you have to be aware of. You have to acknowledge, and it's okay that you might be, but it's like, let's take it head on. Let's face it head on. Let's acknowledge it's there, and let's bust right through it and keep progressing so we can help more people.
That's really good. And as you talk about that, there's so many things go through my head, like this, that, and the other. When I had the chills, I was going to ask you this question. Like, I know when I got, and that's true. Like, I know people may not understand that, but it really is what gets me out of bed. I mean, and when I got the video came out, right? We're honored and blessed to be partners with you, by the way. And but it in that moment, I'm emotional anyway. But my wife knew because she's, she lives with me. She knows the real deal. Like, she knows how hard I work, and I mean, I will do that. Like, there's one thing I know I can do. Just like you in baseball, you may not have been the best second baseman, right?
Mm-hmm.
You may not have been, but guess what? You got there. You probably did. We could probably sit and talk about that all day. May not get into that now, but there's probably guys that were more talented than you, even drafted higher, came from whatever, and they didn't make it because their work ethic and the complacency. You hit on a great point there. I love that. But I didn't mean to go off track. But when I had that happen, all I could think about, in that moment, she said, "What are you feeling?" And the honest answer to that was, I just want someone else to feel what I'm feeling right
Yep.
now. And so it
Yep.
was just like, what did you do? I worked all day that day. The next day we were in Charlotte, worked all day. Matter of fact, it was probably a 14-hour day because I got up that morning, went out and run like I like to do, showed up. Sean was there. We did a conference. Everything's been like that. Worked just as hard since it's happened. It's not like we're taking time off. It's actually even harder. It's more of a responsibility the way I see it.
Yep.
And so anyway, I know you feel the same way. But anyway, going back to complacency, you were talking about something about working through something. And I think every manager that's built any sizable business here is going to deal with a chargeback. Let's just use it that way, in the positive way. It happens, right? We tell people upfront 70%, 30%. But what they fail to realize, Andrew gave me this analogy one time. He was telling me, he's like, if you had a regular business and your car broke down or your truck and it was 40, 50 grand, I don't want to use that's a big number. I get that. But what I'm saying is any amount of chargeback that might come your way because of a team, that is our truck. That is our stove at a restaurant. It has to be fixed and it has to keep moving forward. And I just bring that up because I know that that's something that a lot of us deal with and how we navigate through that. And I'm sure you've seen that. But if you had a guy, our team, they're watching this right now and they're like, hey, man, I've had this little bit, whatever, I don't know. Is there anything you say to them other than, like you said, let's meet ahead on and work through it? Any specifics that you maybe look for, guide with, being positive about it, and that type of thing?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, Dave, is perspective, and I think this is a huge part to building a big organization. Is how are you going to react to negative things, right? How are you going to? Because if you're the type of person, and I've been on both sides of this fence, I raised my hand. There was a time where I was negative and I let things affect me. And when I made the decision that I wasn't going to allow that anymore, because
That's
what
good.
happens is, Dave, when we as leaders, as managers, when we react negatively to negative things, it filters down throughout our whole organization. And so what I always try and do is put perspective on things for people. And it's like, yeah, you had a chargeback, whatever. I mean, let's face it, dude. It's like it's one policy. I mean, it's not a big deal. Just go out and fix it. And I think, like you said, setting those expectations up front is massive as far as that. I don't pull any punches with new agents or managers alike from the get go. I let them know, hey, this is gonna happen. We have ways to minimize what that the chargebacks or whatever inside the home, but it's going to happen. The
Mm-hmm.
difference between our top salespeople and our top managers are how they react to that. So I set that stuff up front, those expectations, but just perspective on it, man. And I'll just kind of give you some insight,
Yeah.
because this was something that, quite frankly, building a business, I did struggle with for a while. Is that liability of building a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is you're recruiting people, and especially if they're cold market people, you don't know who they are yet. You don't know, are they going to go write a few policies and then leave and quit and leave some debt behind or whatever? And I worried about that type of stuff for a long time. And it's crazy, dude, because I was telling somebody this the other day. Throughout the 12 years I've been in this business, I did not have much in regards to roll ups, debt left behind from agents. I had a little bit here and there, 2, 3, 4 grand, whatever. And it's like, really, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, again, that
Right.
you work that off in a day and boom, it's gone. But in all the years I've been in this business, the year, Dave, that I had, what year do you think I had the most possible, or the most roll ups I've ever had in 12 years? What year do you think that was?
In 12 years, I would say probably in the last 12 to 18 months.
There you go. That's exactly the case. That's when I've had the most roll ups I've ever experienced, the most debt, right? The most chargebacks, right? Why is that? It's because we've been growing like freaking
Yeah,
crazy.
that's
When
right.
you're growing, that stuff's going to happen. But
That's so
oh
true.
by the way, the year I had the most debt, the most roll ups is the same year we were blessed to be able to partner with Integrity, a company like Integrity,
Right.
right? It's like, so it's like that's some of the stuff. It's the reality of it. You know, get over it, move on. It's not that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Go sell some insurance, go recruit some people. It's not that big of a deal. Every
Mm-hmm.
single person,
Love it.
every single person that has been blessed enough to grow a big business in our space has dealt with, I would be willing to bet, way more than you have. than what you're going through at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Move on. How are you going to react to it? Take the challenge head on and boom, go knock it out. So
Yeah.
that's just how I talk about stuff like that, man.
That was great. That was just priceless, and it's so true because I have that same mindset. We got to keep moving and figure it out, and again, at the end of the day, you go back to and they work together, right? If a person doesn't get complacent and they stay consistent, most of that doesn't even happen,
Yep.
right? Right.
Yep.
Um, Talk about this, like with some of the things that you used from your background, right? I know it's important, and I love the transparency because there's probably some days you didn't want to go out and practice. I mean, I get that. I had a time being total transparent. It was actually yesterday. It was weird. My wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" I just, it was just one of those days, and we all have them. But you know what's funny is I showed up in the office. I was one of the first ones here still on a Tuesday, and then or Wednesday, whatever day, I don't know, lose the days. But then I was the last one to leave, and I got so much done. So when I come, how do you feel? I'm like, great. It was a good work day. But like, I could have let whatever was going on in my head for that moment, which we all have them, regardless who we are. It's just how fast can you get over it? And I think that's what I'm just saying. Most guys that are at this position and have got to that place, that's what they do different. Would you say that that's true? That they're able to just move on from whatever that is and keep that positive? But anyway, what are some things you did in your professional life as a baseball player that's helped you here?
Right.
Because there's some people that are coming from other industries working with us and
Yep.
using those mindsets to help you win here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the biggest thing I could say to anybody who's listening to this is think about what you've been the most successful with in your life, whatever that might be for you. Everybody's been successful at something, whether it's being a parent, whether it's being an athlete, whether it's being a musician, whatever you've been the most successful with. And me personally, I would say to you, relate this business to that. Think about what you did in that line of life to become successful and apply it to this. For me, it was baseball, right? And so I was a fish out of water when I came into this business. All that stuff had all kinds of struggles. And for the first couple of years, the struggles were massive simply because I was trying to be an insurance agent. I was trying to be I was just thinking along the lines of, again, I'm a fish out of water. I don't know how to do this. And the second I started relating everything to baseball is when it made sense to me, right? It's like how in professional baseball, if I didn't wake up every single day during the off season and, you know, drink a protein shake in the morning, drink a protein shake at night before I went to bed, go straight to the gym in the morning, work out for 3 hours, miserably work out to the point you're physically getting sick, right? You're pushing yourself to other levels. Um, Hit all the swings off the tee, things like that to create a habit. If I don't do those things in the off season, when the lights and the cameras aren't on, then my results during the season when the lights and the cameras are on are not going to be where they could be. It's the same deal with this. If you're just doing the minimal amount of work, Dave, just to get by, right? Then guess what? You're not going to get the same results as that person who's doing the extra work in the cage or showing up and working out and lifting all the weights and you're not going to, because there is somebody out there right now that is willing to chase their goals and dreams more than you are, right? There just is. And so I never wanted to have regrets, man, and look back and say, hey, I didn't make it to the big leagues because I didn't work hard enough. And that's the beauty of what we do, is you don't have to have some sort of innate talent. I mean, Lord have mercy, look at me. I've been able, uh, I was a disaster when I started in this business. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and, and I've been blessed and fortunate to have a lot of help from a lot of people and a
Thank
lot of
goodness.
guidance from Sean and Mike and a lot of other people. But it's just, you, I never wanted to have regrets that I didn't work as hard as the next person. So that's what I would say. Do relate it to what you've done best, what you've been most successful. and don't leave that door open for having any regret make on other people's families. It is so worth it to do it. Yes, you might miss. I mean, my kids were 2 and 4 when I started in this business. Yes, I missed a few uh you know a few things along the way, but I can tell you this, I didn't miss the main things. I just had to prioritize. It's like, I can give my oldest daughter as an example. She's a dancer, Dave, and I never missed any of her big recitals or her big stuff. But yeah, I might have missed the open house dance thing where they danced for like 1 minute, and it was some stupid. And I love her to death, and it was some
Yeah.
stupid little made up quick dance. Yes, I prioritized. Those weren't the most important, right? And but it's so worth it, because when you get to a point where you grow a massive business and you help a lot of people, you have the choice. You don't have to miss anything. As long as you've got this with you, you don't have to miss anything. And so it's well worth it. I got off on a tangent there. I
No,
apologize.
that's great stuff, and you made me think about something. See, a lot of people talk about as a sacrifice. I think it's the wrong word. Do those things. Yes, that hard work pays off, but the priorities he changed versus a sacrifice. It wasn't a sacrifice. He changed his priorities. He's still with his daughter. He's still with his family, and people get confused about that. Oh, I'm sacrificing. No, you're not. I didn't sacrifice anything, dude. It was a priority change and things I had to put over here for just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're still there, but I'm just saying it's just it looks different now because we worked hard, right?
Yep.
But I would love you to tell, like, integrity now, and that's the thing. I don't understand how someone can't. I mean, 24/7. I mean, I know I say that it feels like I work. I don't think I sleep. I think I do it in my mind like you do. I wake up, I'm already thinking about who I can help, and sometimes I can't go to sleep because of that. Um, but when you wake up with that and you found in your heart, you mentioned that when it goes to your heart, see, I had, because of the time I'd put in for 20 years, with a practice of 19 before I came here, guys. I think people didn't understand that. 2.5 years, yes, we've been here 2.5 years. Anybody can do that, but you also have to understand there's a process of learning, and you go at it fast. Don't overthink it. I'm not trying to say that, but I know we know it can be done, right? Where there's going to be people doing it faster, which is great, and we got guys like Josh Williams and Bowen Sweeney. It just came to my mind earlier. Needham and Hayden obviously built a great business too. Lots of others. I could go through a lot of lists, but if it wasn't for guys like Brent, we wouldn't even have had this opportunity. So I wanted to thank you early on. I forgot to do that. So thank you for staying the course, because otherwise none of us have that. And what we're doing, Brent, I know you feel the same way, is working as hard as we can so other people can get the same opportunity we had. But as we wrap up over the next, 6, 8, 10 minutes, whatever, um, what what do you do? Like, two things. One, talk about integrity a little bit and how they need that sense of urgency, like unbelievable. Look what happened yesterday. And that's big. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean, just one after another, and it's just, and so with that, what that means and the urgency there, and then also just day to day as a leader, some things that you could, tell the guys to do, guys and gals watching this, and
Yeah.
some advice there.
In regards to integrity, I mean, you have to be living under a rock if to not understand
Uh,
um, that they're on a mission. That integrity is on a mission to help as many families through all different
mm,
types of insurance, the health side of insurance, the life side. They are on a complete mission to help as many families as possible. If you don't want to be part of that, forget the money, forget the all that comes with a partnership with integrity. If
mm,
you don't want to be part of that train that's rolling down the tracks to help as many people as you possibly can in America, you're in the wrong business. Period. Plain and simple.
great.
That it, it's a bunch of, and Dave, that's how I knew really truly that I wanted to be a partner and partner with integrity um, is the more and more I looked, the more and more I watched some of the videos that came out, the more and more I dug into who they are and their values, and Brian and everybody. Um, it lines up with what I believe in my heart, and it's about a servant heart. It's about protecting families. It's about taking care of of agents. And again, I don't know why you wouldn't want to be a part of it. It does nothing but accelerate your business, take it to a whole nother level, along with some security there, from a financial standpoint. So I don't see the downside to it. But like I said, if you're not focused on that, like, it's coming, there's urgency there, right? It's like every single day you make a decision to, I'll get to that tomorrow, or I'm not going to quite go as hard as I possibly could today. Every single day you have that chance to make that decision, and you put off something, you're just delaying your opportunity to get on that train that's running down the track. So, in regards to, you know, something else that I could maybe leave the men and women with on the call, Dave, I would say this. I think it's very dangerous for a lot of people right now, where some people have chosen to take their business in regards to the virtual sales aspects. Okay, now, and I want everybody to hear me on that. I'm all for doing whatever you got to do to help the 30, 40, 50 families a month. If that's out in the field, great. If that's virtually, great. Whatever. Okay. But I think a lot of people have gotten very comfortable sitting around their house or in their office on their computers because of selling virtually. And that is not going to help you build a massive business. This is a leader's call. This is a builder's call. You have to get out in front of people face to face, kneecap to kneecap, to meet people, to build relationships with people. That's what's going to help you grow it. I can give you a story, Dave. Back in the early days of my 12 years in this business, I used to go every single week. I'm in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and Tallahassee's about 3 hours away from me. Every single Tuesday morning for, golly, probably a year or two, I would drive over. On Mondays, I would book appointments for Tuesday and Wednesday over towards Tallahassee and the surrounding area. I would leave early Tuesday morning, go over there. I'd run 5, 6, 7 appointments on Tuesday, face to face with people. Wednesday morning, I had a hotel conference room rented. It was like a boardroom. It wasn't even like a big conference room. I had a hotel boardroom rented where Wednesday morning I would do a business overview meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, from 9 to 10, for any new recruits that I've talked to that following, or that week prior to. And then I would do a quick sales training for the anybody I've got up and going. So from 9 to 11, I do business opportunity meeting, sales training, boom, right back out in the field and run another 5 or 6 appointments before I came home. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the power of it. Not only am I face to face with those people in that business overview meeting, and they can look me in the eye, all that sort of stuff. And this was back in the days of paper applications.
Yeah.
I was able to run those Tuesday appointments, and then Wednesday morning, drop 5, 6, 7 applications down on the table and say, I just drove 3.5 hours and helped 5, 6, 7 families over in your backyard. I'm going to continue to do that until somebody's willing to show that they want to plant their own flag in their own home area. So that's powerful. So I could go on and on about that, and I know we need to wrap up, but get out in front of people. Go meet people. Get to learn, not just, and it can't just all be about the business, Dave. I mean, we got to get to know people. What is it that makes people tick? Is it, how many kids they have? What's their passions? How long they've been married? All things like that. I think that type of stuff, and it's very, it coincides with what I'm sure all of your top salespeople, which are typically top managers, I'm sure it coincides with what you're doing inside the home when you meet, these people you're selling insurance to. Why are we not getting to know our agents in the same way? It's very, very important to building a huge business. So get out there and get in front of them where you can look eye to eye and build those relationships.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite part of the business. And
Mhm.
I mean, I'm just be honest with you. Last year, I got kind of away with that, just going around to different meetings, and those are great. But the business opportunity meeting, that's where it's at. And we just did that August 15th and 18th. We have
Yep.
another boom for a whole week, Monday and Thursday. Look it up. Family First Life, FFL events. You can find it. If you don't know, reach out to guys like Brent. Brent did our Charlotte. It was funny because I was in Charlotte. He was in our Charlotte office. I say ours because it's everybody's in my mind. And had a great group there, which I knew you would. And then I went to KC and I was out there with some of his guys. And Ty came and him and his wife and some of the team. And it was just good to break bread with them and have them a part of that. So it's just I love the family. So we it was funny how you segued right into that because I was going to ask you about that. But any last comments, man? I love you, man. I appreciate you, everything you're doing. We're on this championship run, right? Like,
Yep.
segue. We got another one coming this year for the dogs, but I'm just
Yep.
saying, sorry, football. But, that's what it is for me, integrity. I was sitting here thinking, you played in a gold medal, you played in professionals. And to me, and you mentioned this earlier, but to me, integrity is the Hall of Fame of insurance. So it's not even like, you got the gold medal,
Yep.
you played for the All Star team, you're professional, and then it's that next level, and that's what I see, don't you?
100%, dude. It
Yeah,
is the Hall of Fame, and now it's about how many others can we get to be part of that Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is nothing special if there's only, it's like I can take baseball. You go to Cooperstown, you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame. How many people truly would go and see that and be in awe of what's there, all the relics, all the uniforms, all the pictures, all the stories? How many people would go there if there was only one or two members of the Hall of Fame? Not
yeah,
many people would go. But because there's new members inducted every single year, that history, that rich history, that Hall of Fame, it grows every single year, right? And that's what this Hall of Fame of insurance, like you said, called Integrity. It's like how many more people every single year can we induct and become a part of this, this great group of people in this great company.
yeah. I love you, man. I appreciate you. I love being in business with you guys. Thanks for jumping on the leadership call. Warriors podcast is on Wednesdays. Love to, you guys join us. That's at 12. We're doing these at 10 on Saturdays. These leadership calls. Thanks for the integrity partner, Brent Abernathy. I love being in business. We can't wait to see you soon. Hey guys, right now, go to Instagram because our leader, Sean Mike, will be on in just about 30 minutes on Instagram live at 11 Eastern. Do not miss that any week. He'll be on there, him and Andrew. It's great stuff. So don't miss it. Go there right now. So thanks for being on today. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.